Hello all. How y'all doing today? Gonna wait for a few more people to hop on, and I'm gonna show you how to do another version of stickers. Last week I showed you how to do it with your regular printer with ink, and today I'm gonna show you how to do it with some 651 permanent white vinyl and some thermal lamination sheets using Crafting Busty's paper. Good morning. Good day, Dee. I will be using my Cricut to help me cut today. So go ahead and get started. Again, I'm going to be using the circled stickers I did last week, but we're going to do it in a different way. So I'm already in my Cricut. I already got my image ready. The measurements are 1.97 by 1.97, and I only do that because I found with those keychains I showed you last week as well. Let me get it for you. It fits on these perfect, so I just keep it at that size in case I want to make more keychains for my customers. So like I said, I already got it pulled up. I got 12 circles on my Cricut. Let's see if I can show you the screen a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to print off my Cricut onto Crafting Busty's sublimation paper, and then we're going to cut the vinyl. And before we print, I'm going to get my shapes out. I'm going to get a square shape, and I'm going to put it over my image real quick. That way those circles will cut the vinyl. So these ones I have set up for print and cut right now. Let me put that back over there. There we go. So I'm going to my shapes. I'm grabbing a square. And it's loading. I have children in school, so internet is slow. I do apologize. And while that's loading, I will say I already heated up my heat press. Well, it's preheating right now. I have it at 385, and we're going to do our first press for 20 seconds. So that's preheating right now. And we're still waiting for the shape to load up here. There it is. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to unlock the shape, and then I'm going to put it over all my stickers or my circles with my image on it. Well, first let's make sure these are flattened. Yes, they are flattened already. I'm actually going to have to do, my apologies, I'm going to have to do one circle because you can't do multiple slices unless it's welded together. And if you weld this, it's going to turn your image into a solid color. So we're going ahead and just do one circle, and we're going to slice it. So what you do is you hold down on your pointer finger on the mouse and drag across both the square and the circle, and you're going to go ahead and slice it. And give it a minute. There we go. And then we're going to remove this part right here because we don't need that. And we're going to move the circle that we just sliced. We're going to keep this, and I'm going to make 12 of those because I'm making 12 stickers. So let's go put this up here. We're going to duplicate that. Move that over. Duplicate it one more time. Move it over, and then I'm going to highlight all three of these circles. That way I don't have to duplicate more than I have to, and duplicate those three. Now I'm going to highlight these 6 circles and duplicate one more time. That way I'll get my 12. So now what we have is our print and cut, which we're going to be printing on sublimation paper, Crafting Busty's. And then we have our circles that are just going to cut, and that's going to cut the vinyl we need to press the image on. So let's go ahead and make this. Let it load up there. So for this project, you want to mirror your image. So we'll go ahead and select mirror here. I'm going to go ahead and mirror my circles just because it's going to match, just in case it's a little off. So go ahead and mirror that. So I'm back on my print and cut. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to the next step. We're going to wait for it to load. We want to send it to the printer. Now when I send my sublimation projects from Cricut to my printer, I always select Use System Dialog. And when you do that, you're able to tweak your settings the way that you want it. So we're going to select Use System Dialog, and we're going to select Print. And that's going to bring up your box to where your settings are, so you make sure that your settings are set the way that you need it for your sublimation print. So, but it's loading on us. Like I said, and I got kids in school, so the internet's a little slow right now. See if there's any questions so far. Some of the advantages this way, some people you have like more options. You can put this on a cup, you can make a decal. You get more detail, I feel, when you do it this way. But you can definitely just print on paper and do what I did last week as well. This is just another way of doing it if you want to use your sublimation. Hello, Tina. All right, so my print came up. I already got my sublimation printer selected. So I'm going to click Preferences. And like I said, my computer's being slow. Here we go. So I'm using an 8.5 by 11 inch Crafting Dusty's paper today. I'm going to use my paper type. I always use premium presentation paper matte. I'm switching my quality to high. And I'm going to make sure, I've already mirrored my image in Cricut. So I'm not going to mirror it again in this setting, because if I do, it's just going to flip it back. So I'm not going to mirror it, but I am going to turn my speed off. And I'm going to push OK. And then we're going to send it to the printer. So again, if you already mirrored it in your Cricut, do not mirror it in your settings. Xandra, I am making stickers today using 651 and thermal lamination sheets, some Crafting Dusty's paper. Alright, let's see if it's printing. Alright, it's coming, y'all. So once the print comes out, what I'm going to do is have my Cricut cut out the circles for me. That way it matches the circles from the vinyl. So you don't have an issue of lining it up to make sure that you get all the coverage you need. Hey y'all. So the printer's printing right now. So while it's doing that, we're using the thermal lamination sheets for this tutorial. So what you can do, you know how it comes folded like this, where the crease is, you just pull it apart and it gives you 2 sheets. So we're just going to be using 1 sheet of this, and I'm going to save the other part for another time. Hey! So we're going to set this to the side. Good morning. Or afternoon now. Then when the when the paper comes off the printer, we're going to have the Cricut cut it. And the setting for this, I'm just going to use copy paper. There's not a particular color you can use. I use white because the colors pop more, but you can use like a lighter color. Just know you can't really, just like for t-shirts and stuff, the darker the fabric, the less ink you'll see. So white's always best, but you can use like a light pink, a light blue, light gray. It don't have to be white, but I like white because the ink shows better. Still printing, y'all. Is anyone crafting today? Hey everybody, for all the people that just joined in, I am subbing on 651 vinyl. I'm using thermal lamination sheets, and we're going to press it, and then we're going to press our image on top of that. You can use these for stickers, you can put them on cups. I mean, it's endless. I want to probably put some on my keychains that I made from last week. For this one, it doesn't have to be glitter. I do use glitter HTV for shirts, but this one is just regular 651 white vinyl. And then when we press the lamination sheet on top of it, that's going to give you the polyester that the ink needs to hold on to it. Canvases and tumblers, yes. I have to do some more of those too. Good afternoon. T-shirts, yes. Tabitha, I don't have a laser printer, so I can't really answer that question for you. I'm not 100% sure on that. We're just waiting for my printer to stop printing, and then I can show you the next step. So what I did so far is I sent my image to my sublimation printer. I did mirror it in the Cricut. I selected System Dialog, and what that does is when you send it to the printer, it brings up a setting box so you can adjust your settings. So I adjust my settings to Premium Presentation Matte, High Quality, but for that setting I did not mirror my image in the printer settings because I already mirrored it in Cricut. So we didn't want to flip it back. And now we're just waiting for that to come off the printer. No, this is not HTV. This is just regular permanent vinyl, white. The printer I have is a 7720 Epson printer. I'm also using Cosmos ink today with Crafting Bessie's paper. Hey Sandra. So we're just patiently waiting for the paper to come off my printer so I can show you the next step. It's almost there, y'all. All right, it's off. So we have it off the printer. I did keep my bleed on for this because when the Cricut cuts it, I don't want any white paper showing. So now what I'm going to do is put this on my Cricut mat, and we're going to send it to the Cricut to cut. And the setting I use for this is copy paper. Yes, this video will be up later. So just be careful when you lay this on the mat. You don't want to really touch the ink because it's still a little wet, so press around. Alright, so we're going to choose copy paper. And I use the copy paper 20 pound. And we'll push done. And we're just going to let the Cricut do its thing. And I do it this way, that way it's easier to line up your image onto the vinyl. That way you're not, so when I'll show you, when we cut the circles on this, it's going to be easier to line up an image. That way you're not trying to guess if it's lined up correctly. You're welcome, guys. So we're waiting for the Cricut now to cut the paper. And then we'll send the vinyl through and have the Cricut cut the vinyl for us. I currently do have my heat press preheated to 385 degrees. So it's ready for whenever this, this part's done. Sorry, y'all, my son's trying to ask me a question. He's trying to ask me if he can make the internet better. Alright, so my Cricut is currently cutting the circles out for us, and then we're going to send the actual vinyl through to get cut. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of vinyl off. I just cut off a piece of vinyl that we're going to feed through the Cricut. Alright. So now we're just going to take the paper off the mat. And some of them stick, that's fine. So I do not bend the paper, I bend the mat, that way it doesn't really bend the paper, it keeps it flat. So we're taking that off the mat. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my vinyl on my mat. And we're going to send that through the Cricut. Alright, so let's see. We want to change this to premium vinyl is what I usually use. So go ahead and get that. This is going to be our circles. Push go, that might help. So while it's cutting, I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of my circles out of the paper. And then we'll weed the vinyl, which will be really easy, and then I'll take you over to my heat press. I cut the sub paper because it's easier for me to line it up when I go to press it, so I know that my vinyl is getting full coverage. I'm printing a 1.97 by a 1.97 circle. Now, the circles are being cut right now, but at the beginning of the video I did show how I made the circles using the shapes feature. Alright, so the vinyl's cut. So let me go ahead and cut what I don't need off. And just save that for later. And now I'm just going to weed out what I don't need. Put finisher here. So I'm just taking off what I don't need, so my circles are showing there. All right, so make sure my lamination sheet that I already ripped in half for y'all, I'm gonna make sure it fits over, and it does. And we already got our paper already cut out to press on there. So what I'm gonna do is flip y'all around, so give me a second here. So right now I currently have my heat press. It is preheated for 385. And the first press we're going to do is going to be for just 20 seconds. So you want to lay down the parchment paper first. And then you're going to grab your vinyl that you just cut. Lay that down. And we'll put some heat tape so it stays flat. Heat tape this down so that it stays flat on us. And then now what I'm going to do is get my lamination sheet. So when you look at the lamination sheet, you have a shiny side and you have a dull side. You want to make sure the dull side goes down on top of the vinyl. And make sure all your vinyl is covered by it. And then lay another parchment paper on top, or butcher paper, or whatever you have. And then we're going to press for 20 seconds. Go ahead and get my circles here. So give it a second. It is really hot at the moment, so let me show you what I got so far. We pressed the lamination sheet on top of the vinyl. So now what I'm going to do is line up my circles on top of my vinyl circles and tape it down. And I'll show you just a second what it looks like after it's taped. One down. And like I said, with the Cricut cutting out the paper for me, it's easier for me to line it up on top of the circles. So it's not a headache trying to figure out if you line it up evenly. Sorry, y'all, it's taking me a minute. Shouldn't have probably done 12 stickers. We're almost done. All right, 2 more left. All right, so I got all my stickers taped on top of my circles. So I'm going to lay back on the heat press, put parchment paper on top again, and this time we're going to press at 385 for 25 seconds. Go ahead and turn that off so I'm not using that anymore. Now I'm going to take off my Crafting Bessie's paper and I'll show you the outcome here. Sorry, all my kids are throwing stuff at me. So now we have this. I want to flip you back around. In this part, I'll show you what I do. So now I'm just going to cut around the circles. I'll do a couple for y'all so it doesn't take forever. So as you see the image on the circles. The lamination sheet is on top. When I'm done with the live, the video will be up so you can go back and watch if you need to. No, I don't send it back through the Cricut. I've tried that once and it didn't line up correctly. That's why I cut around it myself. Hey, Kathy. So let me cut these off real quick for you. All right, cut around these real quick. There's probably an easier way to do this, and if y'all know another easier way to do that, then you can tell me, but I'm just going to cut around the circles real quick and I'll show you. I'm only going to do 2, I'm not going to do all 12. I think there is a circle hole punch, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Michael's actually has a thing where it goes around and you can adjust the size. I just haven't looked into it, but I think you're right. I was looking into hole punches last week after my video. Y'all told me to get a hole punch. Just haven't done it yet. But for this sake, we're just going to use my scissors today. And I will definitely look into those hole punches. All right, so my circles are cut out. And This is permanent vinyl, so you can just stick it on anything. This is waterproof. These are waterproof. So let me go ahead and take it off for you, and I can show you if I can get the vinyl off. I have to use my weeding tool for everything these days, but it's sticky. And like I said, you guys are probably right. There's probably a hole punch out there that would help me, and I think there's an actual gadget little thing that will cut circles for you as well. But for the sake of this video, and because I don't have a hole punch, I just cut today. So if y'all have any questions for me, just drop them in the comments. I'll try to get back to you today. This will be up in the group, so if you want to go back and watch, you can start it over from the beginning. I did show you how I made the circles for the vinyl to cut, as well as how I printed off my Cricut for sublimation and the settings that I used. So like I said, if you have any questions, you just drop them in the comments for me, and I'll try to get back to you today. And you guys have a wonderful Thursday.